What is happiness? Happiness is achievement. What's the father of achievement? Motivation. What's the mother? Encouragement. The fine golf swing is truly achievement. Man may lie, cheat, and steal for gain. But you'll never gain the golf swing. To gain the golf swing, man must work. It's work without toil. For those of us who know and love it, golf is truly happiness.
Hey, welcome to the program. I am excited to be here. One of the things I want to make sure that we get accomplished today while I'm in front of you and while all of you are here, by the way, we had more people register for this event than we've had in the last year. So congratulations for joining the event today. We have tons of people. I have a chat open here to the right, so I'll be asking you guys some questions and getting some feedback from you. I'm also going to do a Q&A at the end of the program, so make sure you stick around for that so I can answer all of your questions. But before we get started, I want to do a couple of things. One thing I want to do is thank the team here for putting this event together. It takes a lot to put these shows on. I want you to know that we prepare for these shows for a long time. All of you have been invited to the show and you've registered for this, so thank you for being here. But I want to thank my team who sits in the background here. They're monitoring the event. They'll be answering some of your questions as well. So thank you everybody and thank my team for being here to help with this program. Now, let's go into tonight what I'm trying to deliver for you this evening. One of the things that I want you to know about the information I'm going to provide tonight is it's going to be what I call evolutionary for you. And what I mean by that is you already have a golf swing inside of you and it's ready to come out, and we're going to get it out of you tonight. I'm going to show you some very important things that you need to know about the golf swing that by the end of tonight's program, you're going to say a couple of things to me. The first thing you're going to say is it's common sense. This is so common sense that makes so much sense. You may even ask the question, why doesn't everybody swing this way? Why doesn't everybody do it this way? And I'm also going to say things to you that are going to make 100% sense, and they're not complicated. But I'm going to show you two very important things about you and your golf game. One is I'm going to show you a very simple golf swing, a simple way for you to get the club hitting a golf ball dead straight, dead solid every single time. I'm going to show it. I'm going to show you that you have that swing inside of you right now. That's number one. And number two, I'm going to show you an easy way to learn it, because things are so complicated now in the golf world. You've seen it. You probably hang out on YouTube. You're probably doing things right now trying to figure out how can I get better at golf. Tonight I'm going to solve all that for you. This will be the most important program that you ever watch. Now, let me introduce myself. My name is Todd Graves. I'm co-founder of Graves Golf. And one of the things that has been very important in my life is exactly what's important in your life right now, is trying to figure out, is there an easy way to play golf? Because I'm like you, I don't know if you have been frustrated with this game, but years ago, and I'll just tell you a quick story about how I ended up right in front of you tonight. I was a decent golfer, so much so that I played in college. I traveled to Southeast Asia to play my first professional tour. There was 50 of us, Americans, that were invited to play on the Asian tour. Now, one of the things about playing in the Asian tour is I was 24 years old, and I was as far from my home as I could possibly be. I remember making a phone call to my parents, and I had to spend $10 per minute for the long distance phone call. That's how expensive it was at the time to make a phone call. But I was in India, and I was playing a tournament, and I was on the last hole of the tournament. And I remember as the round had progressed, and I got to the final round, I felt my swing kind of falling apart. I don't know if you've ever felt where your swing just kind of, you start losing it. You start losing confidence, you hit a couple bad shots, and all of a sudden, you're like, I don't even know how to swing the golf club. Well, I'm standing on the 18th tee. I'm set up over the golf ball, and I literally cannot move. I'm frozen. I cannot take the club back into my backswing. And I just remember being petrified at making a swing, partially because the golf course, the fairways were very narrow. I was in India, the rough, my caddies wouldn't even go into the rough to get my golf ball because there was black mambas, snakes, and cobras, and all these creatures out there in a country that I wasn't familiar with. And I finished the hole. I barely finished the hole. I think I shot 75 in that round. I was very frustrated. And all I remember was, I don't ever want to feel like this again. I don't want my golf game, my golf swing. I was confused. My golf swing was confused. I was confused. That was a pivotal moment in my golf life, because it was that moment I decided that I'm going to go figure out what the easiest way and the best way to strike a golf ball is. When I returned from Asia, the things I learned are why I'm here tonight, to share those exact things with you on how I can teach you what I've learned, which will help you avoid the frustration that I had. I want you to avoid all the frustration, but most of all, I want to simplify the golf swing for you. I want to show you what helped me start loving the game of golf again, because when I left the Asian tour, I was this close to quitting. I was almost done, because I never wanted to feel that frustration of, this game is impossible, and I don't want it to be impossible for you anymore. So what I want to talk to you about is the single plane swing. And the easiest way that I learned to strike a golf ball on the ground with a stick. And that's what I'm going to teach you tonight. Let me go through the single plane swing with you and show you the common sense side of it and what it is. And then I'm going to show you some detail to it. And I'm going to show you that inside of you right now is a perfect single plane golf swing. So let's go through this. The first thing I want you to understand is the most important thing you can do in your golf swing right now, and this is going to make a lot of sense to you, is get the club to the most important moment of the swing, which is what? Impact. I'm actually going to use my board here, and I'm going to kind of put these highlights up here. So the most important thing you can do is get the club to impact. Now, I'm going to pop the chat up here for a second. Now, wouldn't you agree that if you can consistently get the club to this ideal moment of impact, you can be a great ball striker, right? That's what all good ball strikers do. They get to the moment of impact. You see a lot of different things out there, but good ball strikers get the club to impact, but you want to do it consistently. So I think all of you would agree that we have to get the club to impact. Now, the other thing that I want you to understand, let me ask you a question here before I get going too far. How many people in the chat are brand new to me presenting to you the single plane swing, or you're new to this show? I want you to hop on here and let me know. I want to put in new in the chat if you're new to this. I want to know how many new people I'm talking to out there, because this is going to be life-changing for you. And if you haven't already dove into the single plane swing, it'll be life-changing for you as well. So our goal is to get to impact. Let me show you impact. I want to show you what impact is. And I'm just going to set up. I'm just going to go there and just talk about it with you. So I'm going to take the club. I'm going to go right to this moment of impact. Now, look at the position of my body here. So you're going to see that I have tilt. You're going to see that there's an alignment of the club and the arm. The hands are leading slightly. You're going to see a bit of lean in the shaft. You're going to see the position of my body. I'm rotated. You're going to see my right shoulder is a little bit lower. You're going to see my hands. If you look down the line, you would see my trail arm. I'm open. My trail arm is slightly bent. You'll see the lead arm just maybe slightly above the trail arm. You see a body rotation. So my point is you're seeing some metrics, what we call metrics, the position of the body. The body has a particular rotation to it, it has some bend to it, and it has some side bend to it. So you're seeing some metrics of the body, right? So would you agree, and I'm just trying to kind of appeal to your common sense, would you agree that if I can put your body in those metrics, you should be able to hit a golf ball really well? There's a particular position of impact. All good players get there. So my goal for you tonight is to get you to impact. This is what you should be. Look, if you don't listen to me tonight, if you want to say, hey, that guy is interesting, but I want to go another direction, that's fine. But whoever you go with, they're going to try to get you to impact. So the goal for you to become a better ball striker is you must improve your ability to get to impact consistently. So that's the next word I'm going to put up on the board here, is I want to be consistent. Right? If you get there once in a while, that's great, but it's not going to help you be a good golfer. You want to get there consistently with every single club in your bag, because if you get there consistently, your game becomes predictable, and you can hit better shots more consistently and shoot lower scores. And obviously, you want to get there with speed, because we want to hit the ball long distances. So this is my goal for you, is to show you a swing that gets to impact consistently with speed. Right? That's the goal of tonight's program. So let's do this. Let me show you the golf swing. But first, what I want to do is I want to do a quick comparison to what you've probably learned. And I'm going to do this comparison because There's a lot of information out there, a lot of instruction on the internet. You may even found me on YouTube. You may be finding me on YouTube right now. There's a lot of instruction out there that talks about different methodologies. But let's talk about what most of them teach. And they teach to hang the arms below the shoulders. So what they're teaching out there is this. They're teaching you to stand, slightly bend your knees, and hang your arms below your shoulders. This is somewhat of what they teach you. And you can see my arms are hanging down, and the club, so my arms are on one plane, and the club is on another. So this looks pretty typical of what you'd see out there in instruction. Okay, arms hanging down. How many have learned that? I just want to hear yes, or I've learned that in the chat. And also, if you've learned to grip first, because what they're going to do is they're going to teach you to grip first. They're going to then hang your arms straight down. And I even heard things like, well, you can't have your hands close enough to your body. You got to stand in the athletic position, right? This is the stuff you've heard. Okay. So, but here's the problem with this address position. You'll notice that this is not where you impact. Where you impact is, watch, I'm going to go from here to impact. Look what happens when I impact. My hands will be higher, my body will be turned, and now it looks right. Now, see how impact looks correct now? I had to go from here to here. Now, the problem with that is the club lifts, which means my body has to lift. So in motion, if I put this address position, this conventional address position into motion, I got a problem because I'm too close to the ball. So this would be a conventional address. My hands are hanging down. I'm on arm plane is one plane, shaft plane is the second plane. And now when I swing, the club's going to have to go to a higher plane, so my body now has to lift. So now I got to create room. And I'm so close to the golf ball, I have to lift up something. I can lift my lower body, I can straighten my legs, either way, I'm putting stress on my back. I have to lift the body and the shaft has to lift. You see how complicated that is? Some people have learned to do that. The guys on the tour oftentimes have practiced enough and have developed enough. They do that, but they all do different variations. Some guys lift both feet off the ground. Some guys rotate a ton. Guys like Jim Furyk find ways to get their body out of the way. You see all these variations on tour. But here's what I want to ask you. And you're here tonight because we got to talk about this. What's the easiest way? What's the easiest way to hit that ball on the ground with this stick? Watch this. And again, I'm going to appeal to your common sense for just a minute. Wouldn't it make more sense if instead of hanging the arms down like they teach, why wouldn't I put the club, see what I did? I lifted the arms. Why wouldn't I start the club on the same plane that I impact? Why wouldn't I start the club the way it's designed on the same plane that I end up striking the ball? And you'll notice what my body does. It goes from here, see the plane, to there. It doesn't change very much. You see how I've already simplified the golf swing if I start and impact on the same plane. That's what I want to teach you. And this is exactly what I learned when I left the Asian tour. I learned this from a guy named Mo Norman, who became my mentor. And Mo was regarded as the greatest ball striker that's ever played the game. Why was Mo Norman regarded as the greatest ball striker that's ever played? Because he started and impacted on the same plane. He simplified this motion. I want to show you the simplification of this. And I'm going to show you in the positions of the swing. Now, you're seeing me from a face-on perspective. And now you see how I have my body. And I'm going to put myself in a conventional address again. Notice how in a conventional address, this looks pretty normal, where the shoulders are relatively level, there's very little side bend, the arms are hanging straight down. That would be address in conventional golf. But look at impact. Look how much bend and tilt there is in my body. See how much I had to do? And then I'll have to lift as well because I'm too close. So conventional would create this look right here at impact. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to scoot away from the ball. And this is exactly what Mo taught me, to tilt the body, go into your address tilt, and now look. Look how close I am. Here's address, and there's impact. Look how similar. Address and impact. Address and impact. There's very little difference. So here's the thing. My body position at address is so similar to my impact, I can now simplify the entire swing motion around it. Everything gets easier because I have less movement, less rotation, and the proper distance from the ball. If this is making sense to me, some of you, put it in the chat right here, because I'm teaching you a common sense, simple way to hit a golf ball. The reason you struggled so much in your golf swing is because of the conventional address position. I call it the one mistake. Hanging your arms straight down, standing too close to the ball, creating a conventional address position is the one major mistake that's keeping golfers around the world from playing great golf, because it's too complicated. You have to create too much variation. You're not starting the club the way it's designed. You have to create rotation and body lift and stress. And by the way, you don't practice as much as tour players. You don't have enough time to develop your motion like tour players. You didn't start playing golf when you were 8 years old. This is the problem, is the conventional golf swing is too complicated and too hard, and that's why you struggled for so long. So we're going to simplify this. Let's go by position by position. Now, I'm going to go to my address position, and you'll notice right off the bat that I get into my tilt. And now look what happens. Do you see how I have this great alignment of the lead arm and the club? Well, watch this. That's exactly where I'm going to be at impact, into that alignment. See that? Perfect alignment. Notice that address from down the line, I'm starting and impacting on the same plane. So there's another alignment. See how the club's lining up with my trail arm? I'm starting with the alignments of the club. It creates a club to body relationship. So that's the address position. We're going to go into this a little more here in just a minute. So now I'm going to turn into position 1, and what happens is now I have the same relationship of club to body, and I take it back to the top. There's leverage. I transition to position 3, impact position 4. That returns the club exactly back to the same plane. Extension 5, and then I can finish back on plane. Now watch this. Remember, the goal here is to get you back to where? Impact. I'm going to show you how at address, you'll notice that I have the club starting, and watch this. When I take it back, I'm going to bring it back and I'm going to impact on this exact same plane, but watch what happens to the club during the motion. I want you to imagine for a minute, you see the angle of the shaft. There's your plane. Watch when I take the club back. Do you see how that angle right there is the same plane? That goes to the top. When it comes down, there's the same plane again. Impact on that same plane. Extension, and watch this, back to the same plane. See the shaft, the same plane. So this is it's developing a single plane motion. That's the way this club is designed. I'm starting on the club's design. I'm moving the club on its design. I'm returning it to its design, and I'm finishing on its design. I'm taking this tool, the way it's designed, and this machine, and I've simplified the entire motion down to the easiest possible way to get that club back to impact the way the club's designed. If this is making common sense, you got to put it in the chat, because I present this to thousands of people around the world every month. And the only argument they ever have to me presenting this is, well, the guys on tour don't do this. Well, they actually do this. Every tour player swings the club on plane at some point. They just do it in a very complicated way. Watch tour players. They may start the club like this and take it back like this, but watch when they come down. They got to get it on plane. Every good player has to get the club on plane to get to the club's design and impact. Would you agree? Otherwise, they would miss the ball. Well, Bryson DeChambeau, very close to doing exactly this. Steve Stricker, another guy I would recommend watching, very similar to what I consider single plane. What I'm showing you is, I'm not saying that other players don't get the job done. I'm just showing you the easiest way to get the job done. Now, how many of you can understand that this is exactly why Mo Norman was regarded as the greatest ball striker that's ever played the game? It's because he discovered this. Now, I want you to understand something. I call it a discovery. And the reason I call it a discovery, not a method, is because every one of you can do this. It's because Mo figured out the easiest way to use the anatomy, your machine, the body you own. He figured out the way this thing works. Because what he figured out was, I got to take this tool, this club, and strike this golf ball the way it's designed in the easiest, most effective, most consistent way possible to produce speed. He discovered this. He figured out the way to position the body. It comes down to positions, right? And I'm going to show you how every one of you can learn these positions. But one of the things I want to present to you tonight is, not only am I showing you the single plane swing, but I also promised you that I'm going to show you how to learn this. Let me show you a couple of things here. Do we have an eraser somewhere? No, I got one up here. Okay, so You remember how a minute ago I mentioned that the way you learn the golf swing, how many of you in your chat put in there, how many have learned to grip the club first, right? So you learn to grip. What I'm going to talk to you tonight is about what I consider the ideal way to learn the single plane swing. The ideal way. The first thing is you must learn the address and grip. All right, that's step one. By the way, this is my formula. This is the formula that if you will follow this formula for the rest of your life, not only to learn the swing, you're going to see that this is your formula you follow to maintain and keep the swing for the rest of your life. You're going to need to do that too. The first thing is address and grip. Okay? Now, how many of you were taught to grip the club first? I'm teaching you to address your body position before you grip the club. Let me explain why. When people learn to grip the club first, their body position is not where it's going to be at impact. And so when they grip the club, their arm rotation is not correct, their hand rotation is not correct, and by the time they put their hands on the club first, by the time they try to get to impact, the hands have to be in a rotation. They put the hands on there incorrectly. That's a mistake. When I mentioned this earlier, we're trying to get the club to impact. Why wouldn't I do this? Why wouldn't I put my body in position, then put my arm in position, and then grip the club? Because now my hands are in the position of where they're going to be at impact. Again, tell me if that makes sense. It's just common sense, right? So I teach address and grip. Now, I want to show to you something. And if you're watching this live, and I got a lot of people in the chat who are watching this live, if you're watching this, and I'm going to show you anatomically how to square a club face based on what I just taught you every single time by what I just showed you with your position and your hand position. But we're going to do a little demonstration with you. I'm going to show you some biophysics here, because everything I'm teaching you, you don't need to know this stuff, but it's biophysics. Anytime I talk about your body motion, we're talking about biophysics. But what I want to do is, I promise you, I'll simplify your motion and make sure that every time you move a golf club, you get the club consistently at impact, square. So watch this. We're going to talk about how your lead arm, and this is basically, if you look at your lead hand, when I set up to the golf ball, my lead hand has a relationship to the club face. So this lead hand position is really your club face. So wherever this lead hand ends up, the club face ends up. So I got to make sure the lead hand gets on there correctly. Everybody agree with that? Lead hand matters. If I put my lead hand over here, I've got to make sure my lead hand is like this at impact. The problem with that is it can rotate, right? So sometimes it'll end up like this. So I got to make sure that I want to create an insurance policy around my lead hand to make sure every time my lead hand gets to impact, it's dead square so the ball goes straight. Okay. How can I create an insurance policy on a lead hand? Well, watch this. So if I go into my tilt, so this is called side bend, and by the way, all of you can do that. You go into a side bend, and I'm going to put my arm in front of my body. So I'm going to put my arm into flexion. Now, before I do this, let's do something really quickly. Sorry, I meant to do this. I want you to stand up straight and just look how much rotation you have in your lead arm. See how much rotation you have? I mean, there's probably 270 degrees of total rotation. I can almost turn my arm all the way around. Tons of rotation, right? Because I'm standing straight up. But watch what I do here. If I go into my tilt, and now I put my arm into flexion. So I put my arm in front. Notice my shoulder goes in front of my body. All right? And now, with my body in a tilt and my arm in flexion in front of me, this is where it would be when I'm hitting a golf ball, I'm going to turn it, what's called internal rotation. I'm going to turn the entire arm inward. Okay. Now, you're going to see that my back of my hand is facing directly away from the target. I'm going to keep my shoulder that's in flexion, my upper arm, and my upper arm internally rotated. I'm going to hold this internal part still, and now I'm going to only rotate my forearm, and watch what happens. The maximum amount I rotate, the back of the hand goes to the target. That's as far as I can go. You can try this on yourself. So again, if I go internal in the backswing while I'm tilted, my upper arm stays internal, and my lower part of my arm turns as far as it can go. The back of the hand will only go square to the target. Okay? You're like, Todd, okay, too complicated. Why does that matter? Here's why it matters. That's exactly what happens in the backswing. When I turn into the backswing, my arm goes into an internal rotation. When I come down, look what happens. It's staying internally rotated. Notice the tilt of my body. The tilt keeps the upper arm internal, keeps the shoulder in flexion, and guess what? The only place the club can go is square. That's what I call max range. It can only go to square. Why? Why is this the only place the hand can go? Because of tilt, because of flexion, and because the arm is now forced to be internal. So the positions of my body, the positions, are creating a maximum range position of a square club face. In other words, I can't screw that up as long as I'm in those positions. See, does that make sense to you guys? I told you the swing's inside of you if you hit these positions. It's already inside of you. You've got to hit these positions. So here's the thing. The next thing I'm going to teach you positions. I've got to teach you the positions of the body because the positions are what determine whether you can get these, you can mistake-proof your swing. See, not only am I going to teach you how to get the swing out that's inside of you already, a perfect swing, I'm going to mistake-proof it. I'm going to make sure, which is another way of saying consistent. Guys, when I'm bad at hitting a golf ball, I'm still really good. When Mo Norman was bad at hitting a golf ball, he was still incredibly good. Matter of fact, I never saw what I would call bad, but when he could not hit it good because he was mechanically doing what I'm teaching you. His bad mechanics were always still good mechanics because the positions were good. If your positions are good, you can't be bad. I guess that's what I'm saying. That's the thing, positions. We have actually 6 positions, 1 through 6, that we teach you. All right? I'll show you those in a minute. Next thing, when I teach you the positions of the swing, I now got to put that in a sequence, right? Sequence. Right? Notice what I'm doing here. I'm progressing you. I'm telling you how to put your body into a mistake-proof address position where you're already lined up correctly. I'm teaching you the positions of your body to get this mistake-proofing to happen, and now I can put that into motion. Well, I also want to put it into speed, but guess what? I got to do something here. I call it the brakes. I got to teach you how to put the brakes on. Here's what I mean by that. By the way, just a quick shout out here. How many people are kind of getting this? Because, and maybe you've never heard anybody talk about this before. And here's why you don't hear about this in the golf industry. Is because nobody has a model in the golf world. No, everybody's teaching you the swing of the day, the quick tip. You're probably looking for quick tips. I'm not a quick tip teacher. I'm a causal approach, the cause and effect. I'm teaching you what creates good swing motion. All problems are solved with what I'm teaching you. I don't fix people's swings. I teach them good mechanics. It's all built in. Okay, so now I want to give you some sequence. I want to put these positions into an order, right, to create sequence because we want to produce some speed eventually. Sequence, but sequence is produced when I'm in good positions. Sequence is produced from being able to put the brakes on. Here's what I mean by that. I'm going to go into my backswing position. So I'm going to start with my address and grip. Notice my foot position matters, the proper rotation of the feet. That allows for pelvis rotation. So now I'm going to go into my backswing position. Notice when I go into the backswing, do you see my trail leg? It's staying in position. I'm not shifting my pelvis around. I'm rotating around my trail legs. Everybody notice that? Well, my trail leg, because of my foot position, it has brakes. It's not moving. It has the brakes on, right? Okay. So now when I come down, I transition into the lead leg. Notice the lead foot has a rotation and the knee stabilizes the hip. Guess what? It now puts its brakes on. So now it stops. Well, when I put the brakes on watch when I put the brakes on the backswing, I can turn. When I stabilize the downswing and I put the brakes on this leg, I can then turn, and guess what I can do? I can now accelerate the upper body in the club. I cannot accelerate without the brakes. So you cannot make motion if everything's moving around too much, you can't make acceleration of the body. You can't produce the sequence of the swing. So the proper positions of your swing produce your ability to put the brakes on, which now I can sequence. Does that make sense to everybody? And this is where I see a lot of people have problems because they get out of position. And when you're out of position, you can't sequence. And when you're out of sequence, you can't do what? Can't produce speed. That's the goal, speed. Now, look at my formula here, and we're going to talk about this for a second. This is my formula. It mistake-proofs the swing for consistency, and it helps us get speed. This is all the things I promised you. I promised you I was going to tell you how to consistently get speed into impact. This is exactly how you do it. But I'll make a bet. I'll bet all of you a $100 bill. And there's a lot of $100 bills on here. There's a lot of money on here right now. We had, how many? 1,500 people sign up for this thing. So I'll bet you a $100 bill that you learned the swing this way. I'll bet you that you learned the swing exactly this way. What you did is you grabbed the golf club and you ran out there, and somebody hands you a club, maybe it was your dad or your mom or a friend of yours, and they said, let's go play some golf. And you started sequencing. You started doing this. You started going right here. You tried to hit a golf ball. It's the way I learned. I tried to hit a golf ball. I said, I'm going to learn how to hit this damn thing. And you started sequencing. You had no idea what positions you were in. And then as you got older and you actually wanted to get better at the game, you're like, I better figure out what the heck's going on. And now you start working on positions and what the heck's going on. You try looking for tips. You learned golf backwards. We all did. I did, right? This is why I was on the Asian tour about to give up, because I'd never been taught the correct way to learn the golf swing. But let me ask you a quick question. If you were going to learn anything other than golf, forget golf for a second. If I was going to teach you to play the piano, I wouldn't just say, here's a piano, start playing music. What would I do? I would teach you what? How to place your hands, right? I would teach you the notes, the positions of the notes, right? I would teach you where they are. Reading music, where are the notes? It might just sound like one note at a time at first, right? Just like the golf swing, backswing, downswing, impact, one note at a time. And then when you start putting the notes into sequence, guess what? You get music, right? That's how you learn how to play piano. Otherwise, you'd be like, can't play the piano. What if I taught you how to dance, right? If I was going to teach you how to dance, I wouldn't just say dance. What I would do is I'd teach you the steps, the positions of the steps, 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 step. Then you put the step into sequence, you add some speed, now you can dance. You see, everything in our world that we've learned correctly have been taught with this formula, except golf. Because golf is, we run out there and we just try to play, and we kind of get an average result, and we're like, it went that way, right? But if we want to be good at golf, we need a formula, we need a approach that's a formula. And you need to start learning it correctly. Now, here's the thing. If you're new to this is the way you should learn the swing. Brand new. If you've been practicing the swing for a while, you've been playing golf for 30 years, that's the way you should relearn the swing. If you're already good at the swing, like I am, that's the way I stay good at my swing. That's what I do. Think about it for a second. I go out there, I haven't hit a golf ball in 30 days. I've been busy traveling, teaching, right? I go out there, I make sure my address and grip is good. Make sure I check my positions. How are my positions? Then that helps me sequence, and then I can add speed. You see, this is exactly how I fix my swing if I have a problem. It's how I learn my swing, fix my swing, and maintain my swing. It's all right here in the formula. Guess what I'm not doing? I'm not quick fixing. I'm not looking for the quick fix, ever. Because it's right here. I've solved every problem right here. I don't chase anything other than this right here. That's exactly how I maintain everything in my swing. And this is how I teach. I just taught you my formula for all the thousands of students I've had success teaching around the world. I just taught you it. Exactly how I do it, right? Not rocket science. Now, I have something for you, because my team, we've been doing this now for a number of years, and my team asked me to put together a program. They actually said this. They said, Todd, if you could put a program together and teach this, and one of the most common questions I get is, Todd, how long does it take to learn this? How long? And I was like, I can't do this in 7 days. That would be unrealistic. 14 days, you can make some progress. When people come here to the academy, I schedule at least 4 sessions with them, 1 per week, 4 sessions to get them right on track to learn the swing. I said, I need 30 days. So I put together a 30-day program called Single Plane 30. Now, one of the most important things about this program, it does exactly what I do right here. Let's go through the program. The 30-day program teaches you in the first week. And by the way, this program will revolutionize. It's going to evolve you. And I'm going to show you the things that in your swing in a minute, as we go through this, that you already have in you to do this. This is something, all you have to do is learn the positions. is the week one, here's what we do. We go through the foundation. I teach you the address and grip. That's week one. Guys, spend your time in week one, build the foundation. There's nothing more important than making sure you get it right. Don't run out there and think you got it in one day. We go through it step by step. You learn it finally for the first time in your life. You're going to learn a simple, correct golf swing that'll be the swing for the rest of your life. Invest a week in the address position. That's what we do the first week. Week two, we go through the key positions of the swing. Now this is all the positions. Let me go through those with you really fast. So the key positions of the swing, obviously, address and grip you learn in week one. There's the first movement, position 1, position 2, position 3, impact 4, extension 5, and then back to the plane, extension 6. Now, why did I break it up into 6 positions? Because this is where the braking system gets built. That's why I broke it up in these positions, because we got to build the brakes in. So that's what we do in week 3. We teach you the braking system and to sequence the swing. That's week 3. And you notice it's a formula and an approach that now you're learning the swing in the correct order. It's called progressive training. I'm progressing you correctly, just like I would teach you how to dance, or somebody would teach you how to play piano. I'm progressing you exactly the way the brain is designed to learn. And by the way, this program is designed exactly for that. It's neural programming, connecting the proper neural pathways in your brain. We built this program based on progressive training and the formula of science. This is not something I just made up. It's a scientific approach to how you're wired to learn. You could never learn the positions of the swing if your address and grip weren't correct, because you'd learn the correct positions, would you not? You could never learn to sequence correctly and get the breaks if your positions are wrong. You see, you've never learned like this before. You've never been taught in a correct way. And that's why this has been, we taught over 1,500 people this program last year. It was our most successful venture into instructing the golf swing. Raving reviews about the quality of golf swings that were coming from our program. People were taking the program 3, 4, 5, 6 times during the year. We had one guy take the class 9 times. That's how powerful this training was, because he realized that he was getting so much better every time he took the class. That's how important this training is for you. In week 4, obviously, we get into sequencing and we turn that into speed. But we can't give you week 4 speed until you've learned the sequencing and all the stuff prior to that. Now, here's what's so beautiful about this class. Number one, I coach it. So you get me 4 times a month. I love coaching this program. I spend time with you. But the key to this class is accountability. We deliver to you a daily training module. Every single day, when you wake up in the morning, you get a module. Now, you can do it anytime during the day. If you live in Australia or the UK or somewhere around the world, it opens up and you have all day to accomplish this. So you don't have, we're not doing these, some of these we do live, but not all of them. It's a module that's recorded that you have to check the box that you did the module. Here's an example of it. Week 1, day 1, here's your training. Here's a video for that training. Here's how to do it, 5 sets of 20 reps. And the goal, learn in field position 0. For example, that's week 1, day 1. Notice how specific this training is. Go back to that slide real quick. Notice how specific this is. We're telling you exactly how many to do. We're telling you how many sets to do. And the goal, we're setting goals for you. How many of you had goals in your training, right? We're setting them for you. You have to simply do the training, because here's the thing about it. The thing that I've left out of the formula here is that you're going to have to do reps. And I'm going to put the word do here too. You're not going to get better by watching these videos. It won't make you better. It'll be fun. You'll be entertained. You'll get some great information. You might go, oh, that makes a lot of sense. But you'll only improve by doing what's in the training. So that's why we keep you accountable. You must do the training every single day. You need to be held accountable. That's what it's all about. The second thing we do is we support you. One of the most important things that we do as coaches is make sure we're there for you when you're going through the training. That's what we do throughout every single week. And by the way, it's one of the most important factors in this class that people really love, is that we're with you training. We assign a coach to the program. We have coaches here that are doing Zoom calls with you every week where you can ask questions. We're with you during the training. So not only are we keeping you accountable, we're here to help you. Ask training. No other coaches in the world are doing this. We're doing it for you in Single Plane 30. Now, you might think that this program is going to cost thousands of dollars. And by the way, we did price this out pretty, at a pretty high price initially because my time is expensive. You know, I travel around the world. I charge $2,000, $3,000 a day just to train people in groups. But we're going to put together a package for you here. Check out the price of this package. The program itself is a $649 value. The daily accountability is built in. The way we keep you accountable, it's a $349 value. The live support, $1,000 value. Total value about $2,000. Your price, $297. Only $297 for a 30-day extensive accountability training program, progressing you to a perfect single point swing in just 30 days. Now, I got more to this to help you. One of the things that is critically important that we also give you is making sure that I can answer your questions when we support you in coaching. So the other thing too is we want to give you something in return for when you go through the program. I'm going to include my power generation masterclass. This is a bonus class we put in there because obviously when you go through this thing, I'm going to teach you now how to add that speed in there when you learn. But I'm never going to teach you speed without going through that class first. So I'm going to give you the power generation masterclass. This is about $1,000 value too, I believe, when we look at our retail price of that. But here's what you get in the power generation masterclass. There's a difference between power and speed. This comes down to the braking system. We teach you that. We teach you why the lower body movement is the key to the speed. It's not producing speed, it's the key to the power. We teach you how to train and build the power in your swing and then increase the upper body motion and speed. Well, you can't do any of that without going through single weight 30. So I'm going to give you this power generation masterclass to add that extra speed to at the end. Now, one of the things you've seen me do up here is I've been walking around with this 6-iron training club. Notice it has a training grip on it. Look on the ground here. I have this alignment ball position trainer, and I have another training aid over here. And by the way, they just put that on the screen for you. If you're interested in enrolling in the class, let me step up. Let me talk about one really quickly. We only do this class. We start at the beginning of every single month. And we teach the class for that 30 days. And then we start the next month. This isn't a class you can sign up for any single time you want to. We start at the beginning of the month and we go to the end of the month. gravesgolf.com/enroll. That's how you get into this class. You don't want to wait until the next class. Now, I'm saying this because we love it when you're in the class because everybody's going through it at the same rate and the same pace. I love it when you're in the class with me and we're all talking the same language. What are we doing in week 1? What are we doing in week 2? What are we doing in week 3? I love it when you're with me in that class. Now, one of the most important things you're going through the class is you're going to ask the question, Todd, how do I know I'm doing this right? There's a thing called proprioception. I want to talk about this for a minute. Proprioception is you learning something by doing. When you actually perform the proper positions in the swing, you're learning them. For example, when I stand here right now and I'm looking down at that golf ball and I'm feeling the correct address and grip position with my tilt, my arm alignment, my foot position, you would think, well, you're just standing here, but that's not true. My brain, my eyes, I'm visually seeing certain things. The way the ball is positioned, the way my head is tilted, the way my hands are positioned, the way my feet are on the ground. This is called proprioception. I'm tuning in. My body is tuning into the feelings and the perception and the kinematic feelings of all the things that are happening at address. Well, don't we want to make sure that all those things are in the right place? So we have training aids. These are feedback tools. We call them accelerators. This alignment training on the ground is accelerating my ability to see the correct ball position, see the correct foot position, see the correct club position. My club is doing the same thing. This Feeling Range training club has it has some particular paint on here. It's allowing me to get the correct shaft lean. So the training aids, I have a grip position that gives me the proper hand position. So these training aids are teaching me from a proprioceptive standpoint how I'm feeling about it, how I'm seeing it, how I'm feeling it, the correct positions. So it's giving me feedback. So these tools give me feedback. And we have one more for teaching positions of the swing. These are 3 of our key training aids. Now, these things cost between $100 and $150 a piece. So if you look at the value of these, it's almost $350. I'm going to give you 50% discount on these training aids, 50% off. So not only is the program only $297, I'm going to give you a discount card for these training aids. Okay, the other one is the alignment trainer, or the single plane trainer, which I'll explain in just a minute. But there's more for you. If you sign up today, gravesgolf.com/enroll. If you're willing to sign up to my program, which starts, what's the date that starts, April?
April the 7th.
April 7th. So this next training is starting April 7th. If you're willing to sign up on the training today, I'm going to give you a $150 gift card for the training aids. So basically, I've given you half off and then $150. So you can do the math on that. Basically, you pay shipping to get these training aids sent to you, right? So basically, now let's look at the program. Single plane 30, $2,000 value. Power Generation Masterclass, $497 value. I'm going to give you 50% off the training aids, $171 value, and a $150 gift card. Your price for everything, $297 for all that. Basically, you're getting these training aids to help you get feedback for the cost of the program. All right, so I don't know if I can do better than that, right? Now, I guess I can do better. I'm your personal coach, right? I'm going to coach you through the class. So that's the most valuable thing I can do for you is help you through it and answer your questions. Gravesgolf.com/enroll. Join me in the April program. I love teaching this class. It's a blast. You guys are going to get so much out of it. And we have so many people that give us raving reviews about just the 30-day program and us being involved with it because we get to have a good time when we're doing it. From Frank, got a couple questions coming in. So you guys, if you got some questions, make sure you put them in the chat. Frank, I have back pain. Will this help? Let me show you, Frank, why the single plane swing is really the only swing that's going to save your back. And I got to do this from a down the line perspective. So, Frank, I mean, you're probably maybe still in the chat there. Most likely, obviously, you're a conventional golfer. And the reason conventional golf hurts your back is because we have a spatial problem. When you set up in a conventional swing, you're very close to the golf ball because the arms, they teach you to hang your arms below the shoulders. When they do this, it creates the two planes. We've got the arm plane hanging down, and we've got the shaft plane. When you swing, the club has mass, and it's going to try to line up with the arms. When it does that, you've got to make room. And the only way to make room is to lift something. You've got to lift the body. Well, think about it this way, Frank. When your lower body is going up and your upper body is going down, you got one part going down to hit the ball, and you got one part going up, moving away. You got this problem right here between your lower back and your spine. It's called the sacrum. Your pelvis is pushing up against the spine. It's called compression. So you get compression. I got compression going on, right? That's not the worst part. You're also turning. So now I got turn. So now you got compression, one part going up, one part going down, and you're turning. It's called shear. Got compression and shear, and this is what hurts your back. How many of you in the chat have bad backs? I did when I was younger. When I didn't know the single plane swing, I would get a bad back when I was a kid. I remember when I was playing golf in high school, I had to stay home one day because I couldn't walk because my back was so bad from the conventional golf swing as a kid. And as we age, it gets worse. So yes, if you have back problems, you need to learn this. So how does the single plane swing help? Well, it's pretty easy because we start the club on the impact plane, and now look at my lower back. I no longer have the compression, right? Because I'm not going up. Matter of fact, I'm going down. So everything moves a little bit down. So I eliminated compression. I have not eliminated rotation, but I eliminated the compression. So guess what? The shear is gone. So I no longer have the shear. So you have to have both. You have to compression and rotation create shear. If I eliminate the compression, I no longer have the shear. So the single plane swing eliminates that. It'll save your back, I promise you. Next question. Yeah, this is a question we get a lot. Are the daily classes live? Are there live parts of any class? We do live Zoom sessions every week. Sometimes one, sometimes two live Zoom sessions. But the daily classes are not live. They're recorded and you watch. The modules are delivered to you every single morning. You do it every single day. I will say this, some of the modules I do with you. Not live, but I'm doing the training with you. So we're keeping you accountable to the training. I'm doing it with you, and we go live once a week to answer your questions about any of the modules that you have trouble with, or if you have any questions about any of them. So we are live four times a month, one time a week. Another good question. What if I can't do the training every day? You can make up the training, but I wouldn't go more than 3 days. If you go, you got to make sure you keep up with it. You know, it only takes 20 minutes to do a training session. They're 20-minute training sessions. That would mean if you miss 3 days, it's going to take you an hour to get through the training. It's not a big deal. But if you start getting out there missing too many days, you're going to want to take the class again. So make sure you commit. Guys, we need you to commit to this. You don't buy the class and not show up. It's not going to do you any good, right? Commit to the class. It's only 30 days of your life, and just do the module. I got a recommendation for you. I'm your coach, and I got a recommendation. Get your schedule out. sign up for Single Pine 30, gravesgolf.com/enroll, and check off 7 a.m. training module, 20 minutes. Just get out of bed, get your butt out of bed and do your training, right? Do that. Just put it on your schedule. I have found as a coach that the schedule is the most important part of coaching, because when you schedule it, you stay accountable to it. We don't schedule it, I'll get it in today, get busy, get tired, things go on, you gotta do honeydews, head to the grocery store, and all of a sudden pretty soon the day's ended, I didn't get my training in, you miss a day. Don't do that. I travel all the time, and I get in training all the time. I schedule it. I tell people, no, I can't make dinner, I'm gonna go do my training, right? I skip a dinner once in a while, but I get my training in. Here's another good question. Are you able to play golf while going through the program? Here's what we recommend. We are reprogramming your brain. And a lot of people ask the question, is it okay to keep playing golf? If I had the best of all worlds, I'll be honest with you, I would take 30 days off of playing golf. I really would. But most people aren't gonna do that. So here's what we recommend. Do the training when you wake up in the morning. Put it on your schedule and do it. Knock it out in the morning. Play golf during the day. If you play golf that day, do the training again at night after you play. We ask for you to do 2 trainings versus just 1, all right? That way it's fresh. One of the key, I just finished writing a book, and one of the key elements of learning and reprogramming neurologically the way your brain works is rest and sleep. Do the training, go to sleep. Do a good session of the training and get some rest. Your brain learns faster that way. Actually, they measured about 28% faster before you go to bed when you do your training if you're trying to learn a skill before you go to bed. All right, so do that before you go to bed. So if you're gonna play, make sure you do 2 trainings, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon after you play. Oh, we got a giveaway here. Level 3 membership. Let me explain level 3 membership to all of you really quickly. Level 3 membership is where you get to work. You get to send some videos to our coaches, and they do reviews with you and give you feedback. It's a level 3 membership. It costs $1,000 a year to be a level 3 member. We have a winner, because we're giving away a winner, a level 3 membership in this program, to Michael Richardson of, where is it? Alameda, California. So Michael, congratulations on your 1-year level 3 membership. You'll enjoy working with our coaches and working the Single Pine 30 and the Single Pine Swing with our coaches. Let's go back through the bundle really quickly, because I know we got some people signing up right now. gravesgolf.com/enroll. I forgot to mention, we only allow 200 people in the class every single month, only 200. We fill up almost every single month, so you probably want to hop in there. Plus, you get all the training, the fast action bonuses, which is the training aids and the gift cards. It's gravesgolf.com/enroll. That's a Single Pine 30 class. The fast action bonuses, including the master class. Me as your coach, $2,500 value. A total value of $297 for the entire class for 30 days of accountability training, progressing you through the perfect way to learn a golf swing, and I can't wait to teach it to you. gravesgolf.com/enroll. Is there anybody in the chat right now? Oh, here's some more questions coming in. What is the best drill for early release? If any hints on transition, I expect one leads to the other. Bill at Winter Park. Bill, are you in Winter Park, Florida? I'll be down there next week. What is the drill for early release? Okay, great question. I hate drills. I don't like drills. I don't like drills, and here's why. Because every single thing you do needs to be in this formula. Is a drill gonna help you learn the address and grip position? If your address and grip is bad, what drill can I help you to stop releasing early? There's nothing, right? There's nothing I can do. But what I'm gonna do, Bill, is I would see if your address and grip is perfect, I'd say, okay, what position are you missing, Bill? Right, what position? Somewhere in here is the reason you're releasing early. There's no drill. It's something in your biophysics. It's not yet. And I'll tell you what it is. I've seen this a zillion times, why people release early. Let's say your address and grip is perfect, which I can't guarantee that. I haven't seen your swing. But let's say your address, because I would do this. Bill, I'm teaching you. I'm going to say, Bill, how's your address and grip? Check that out, right? I'm coaching you. Perfect. 10 out of 10, right? 10 out of 10. I would check position 1. Why would I check position 1? Because if you don't have enough rotation in position 1, did you know, Bill, that over 70% of my rotation, 60% of my rotation occurs here in the golf swing to position 1. So most of my 2/3 of my rotation occurs right here at this position. You would think, well, that's not very much movement. 2/3 of my rotation. And the rest of this is mostly arms and shoulder movement. So if you miss position 1, you miss the rotation. And most of the time people release early is they don't have the correct rotation in their body. As they come down, they don't have enough rotation. That's why you release early. So there is no drill, there's only correct motion. So we have to figure out, why are you not making correct motion? Is it because you're not stable? The braking system isn't there? What is causing you? See, I'm a causal teacher. Causal. C-A-U-S-A-L. Causal. What is causing you, Bill, to release early? That's what I care about. I'm not going to give you a drill. I'm going to find out what's causing it and fix it. And it's right here in the formula. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do with everybody. Every question that's asked to me tonight, I'm going to find it in my formula. Here's a question. When I grip first, then address the ball, I invariably change grip because hands are in wrong position relative to the ball. I don't understand the question. When I grip it first, I don't want you gripping it first. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. We don't grip it first. When I grip it first and address the ball, I want you addressing the ball, then gripping it. See, you just answered your own question. This is why I don't grip it first. Because if you grip it first, the hands are in the wrong position relative to the ball. So again, you solved the problem right there. Don't grip it first. You need to establish your body position, then put your arm in deflection and full range, and then neutralize your lead hand where it's going to be, and then bring your trail hand in and look how easy that setup was. That's what I would teach you in single point 30. gravesgolf.com/enroll, I can teach you that. That'll be first week, by the way. When going into side bend, does the pelvis move slightly forward with the hip staying engaged? Yes. From Danny H. Yes. So you'll notice that when I go into a side bend, the pelvis gets slightly side bent as well. That's correct. The pelvis does shift forward slightly. Yes. That would be learned in position. That's also week 1 of address and grip. That would be learned probably the first day. Hey, from Chase from YouTube, why can't I hit my 8-iron fine, but my 5-iron goes the same distance around 50 yards? You got a speed problem. So Chase, you got to swing, you're not accelerating the club. Now, again, I'd have to go through my formula and say, why are you not, your swing speed is around 70 miles an hour, 70, 75 miles an hour. And what happens is, and let me just give you the science of this. So the question was, he hits his 8-iron, but his 5-iron doesn't go where it goes the same length as his 8-iron. When you hit a golf ball, one of the key factors is club head speed. And then when you have more speed, the ball rotates. So the ball gives, and when you rotate, it gives it lift. So the more speed, the more rotations, the more lift. Well, if I don't hit it fast enough, I don't get enough rotations, it doesn't get any lift, it doesn't carry very far. So what happens is if you don't have much club head speed, you're not getting the rotation and the lift of the golf ball, they all start going the same distance. So we need more speed. You got to have more speed. And the only way you get more speed is to accelerate the golf club. And the only way you accelerate the golf club is make sure your mechanics are good and you're able to hit the brakes. Because if your braking system is good, you can accelerate. And most people that are losing speed don't have the ability to produce speed because they're not stable. And that's what I mean by the braking system. So I would find it in my formula. Here's a question. Mo Norman hit hundreds of balls a day. Why does swing method require less practice than other methods? Mo Norman discovered his golf swing. He didn't have a formula. He basically dug this out of the dirt. I spent many rounds with Mo. So why does this swing method require less motion? This swing method requires you to learn it. So you're going to have to put the time in to learn it, right? That's what we do here. We put the time in to learn it. But once you learn it, then you don't have to learn it again because it's based in biophysics. What Mo figured out was based in biophysics. He hit millions of golf balls a day to learn his swing. Once he said it took him 5 years, by the way, this is a quote from Mo, it took him 5 years to trap his golf swing. That's the term he used, trap it. Once he trapped it, he had it for the rest of his life. He discovered his swing in 5 years. He had to figure it out. What did he figure out? My conversations with Mo were, he had a lot of conventional people telling him what to do. He didn't have any help. He had no instruction. So he went to a field in Rockaway, and I went to the exact field, and I practiced in the same field Mo practiced with, and he hit balls until he figured it out. He intuitively discovered the biophysics of this, and he hit lots of golf balls to do it. Once he figured it out, he became the best ball striker that's ever played. What you and I need to do is copy him. That's all I'm telling you to do is copy what he did. That's exactly what we do here. We copy it. Because we copy what Mo figured out and what he discovered. Why waste our time hitting millions of golf balls in a field? Mo did that for us. Thank you, Mo. He solved it for us. Mo solved the problem. We just got to copy what he did. Here's a question. Does speed and power come from the lower body, upper body as a function of braking and lower? Yeah, so I teach this in both Single Plane 30 and the Power Generation Masterclass. Most speed comes from upper body because the lower body is not attached to the club. But it allows the upper body to produce speed. So lower body is mostly a stabilizer. It's what I call a power generator. Without it, you can't produce the speed. But when you have it correct, it allows the upper body to accelerate. So lower body is a power generator. It allows the upper body to produce speed. So I guess that answers the question. Does speed and power come from the lower body or upper body? So power comes from lower body, speed comes from upper body. That's what I teach in the Power Generation Masterclass. Oh, last question. Here we go. Okay, before I get to the last question, and by the way, thanks for how many people hanging out in the chat. I appreciate everybody being in the chat. gravesgolf.com/enroll is the class starting April 7th. Join me in that class. You get all the goodies with it, and it's $297. Just throwing that back in there. How do I check if I'm at the right distance from the ball with a single plane swing and the single plane club? The cool thing about this golf club is it's really designed to get you the proper distance. Watch this. And you'll get this if you join the class, by the way. George, you may have the club already. But set the club down behind the ball. Go into your address and grip position. You'll notice I'm going to do this down the line so you can see it. Now, notice how there's paint. See the red paint? Right here? Okay, so there's red paint and white paint. So when I set up, I'm going to set the club down on the ground. So I'm just going to turn the club, put it on the ground, and this white paint will go directly to my toe line. That gives me the correct distance from the ball. So this club is teaching me correct distance. Now, if you have your clubs, you need to have them fit, because the fitting of the club determines how the plane of it. The plane determines my single plane. So how my club fits me is how I should set up. So making your clubs fit the single plane. This club has a nice cambered sole, has the paint on it. I set it down, make sure I'm the correct distance. That's how I do it with the training club. But we recommend that you have your clubs fit for a single plane. All right. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I appreciate you. Make sure you join the class, gravesgolf.com/enroll, and I will see you inside the class in April.
What is happiness? Happiness is achievement. What's the father of achievement? Motivation. What's the mother? Encouragement. The fine golf swing is truly achievement. Man may lie, cheat, and steal for gain. But he'll never gain the golf swing. To gain the golf swing, man must work. It's work without toil. For those of us who know and love it, golf is truly happiness.